Welcome to Venti Views, where we make amazing content for amazing people. And the amazing people over at Skylum, who make Luminar Neo, gave me early access to some beta versions of their new extensions that we are going to go over today. But before we get into that, if you are new here to the channel, maybe give us a like. We're trying to get to even 100 likes would help, and maybe consider subscribing, because according to my stats, a lot of you are new viewers but not subscribers. So if you just hit subscribe, we'd hit 1,000 followers for the end of the year, which is the goal. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. We're going to go over some of the extensions that they announced coming on the 10th, November 10th. So a couple days away. Let's do it. All right, so here's our image. Now, Super Sharp AI is going to allow me to refocus this image. Now, I don't want to refocus all of it because I like the water back here having a 1 second exposure. This was a 1 second exposure photo, which you don't normally do for wildlife, but this guy was staying pretty still, minus right here. So there is a little bit of blur on the face and the beak here. So what we're going to do is we're going to over here to Super Sharp AI. And first I'm going to go to masking. I'm going to go to brush, bring the softness down, because I only want to affect this part of the image. I don't want to affect the water because I like the water the way it looks. So I'm just going to very crudely adjust just his kind of face here. All right, so we've got that masked. I'm going over here to adjustments. Now there's universal, there's defocus, and there's motion blur. So this, it's in focus, but there is some motion blur. So that's the difference between the three. Universal just covers defocus and motion blur and all of it. If you're out of focus and have motion blur, this one we just have motion blur. It is in focus. We're just going to choose this. And I'm just going to go, I'm going to jack it all the way up to high. Now this does take a moment, it is in beta. They said it is going to be greatly improved before November 10th release, but we're just going to give this a moment, do its thing, and then I'll show you the before and after. Okay, so here's the before and the after. That is pretty damn good. That looks great. So this right here is kind of what I turned the photos into. So this is our before, and this is our after over here with the final edits and even focusing on his entire body, or her. I can't tell if it's male or female, but just the sharpness and everything, just bringing that data back just looks so much better. So why would you want to use upscale AI? Well, basically, Luminar Neo gives you the option to upscale a photo 2, 4, or 6 times, which is used a lot for printing. So if you're going to print your work, this is a great feature for that. Let's dive into that here. So I'm going to go to my next image. This was shot on the Mavic 3, which only has a 20 megapixel camera. So our aspect ratio here is 5125 by 3804, or rather our size of our image at 7.6 megabytes. So this is our image. Now, fortunately, they make it really easy to do this. All we have to do is, if you notice, we have upscale right here. So I can just drag and drop this image, upscale it, and then I can do 2, 4, or 6 times. So let's see if we can't see what these all look like. All right, so now that we have our 3 images here at 2, 4, and 6 times, we have a folder for upscale, so it shows you which photos you've actually done the upscaling on. And if we look at the ×2, we've gone from 7 to 17 megabytes, and quite a big resolution jump here as well. This is the ×4 up to 44, even bigger, and then the ×6, and just this is a massive, massive file. Again, this would only really be for printing this photo, which I might actually do. So that's what the upscale AI does. So we've covered super sharp, upscale. Let's go over the last one, which is portrait background removal. All right, so we have our final image here, and I just want to get rid of the yellow backdrop. So we go over here to layer properties, we go to masking, we go to background removal AI. It selects the subject. It did miss a little bit here and added a little bit too much here, but we can adjust that later. So I'm just going to hit remove, and there we go. Overall, pretty good job, except this part and this part right here. Again, this is just the beta. So I can do the refinements brush, and I can choose the object. And I can say bring this part back right here, but maybe that's a little too much, so we're going to make that a little bit smaller. Now the nice thing is, if I want to export this photo, I can export it as a PNG. So if I want to have a transparent PNG that I can do things with later, I have that option. So that pretty much covers all 3 new features coming out to Luminar Neo November 10th. And if you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, Venti Views out.